All right, let's just jump right in. What we're looking at here is a pretty strange and frankly unsettling collection of images. They seem to show faces, actual human-looking figures forming right out of thin air. Or, to be a little more specific, out of water vapor. I mean, that's a wild question, right? What if you could photograph a ghost? It kind of pushes us right to the edge of what we think is even possible. And these images, they live right in that weird, blurry space between what we know and, well, what we don't. And this really gets to the heart of the puzzle. Just look at the difference here. On the one side, you have a face that is, wow, it's shockingly clear. You can make out the eyes, a nose, a mouth, no problem. But then you look at the other one, and it's just much more chaotic, right? It's this swirl of vapor that kind of sort of hints at a face, but you're not sure. And that's the entire spectrum we're dealing with here, from things that look undeniably real to things that are super ambiguous.
Okay, so the big question is, how were these images even made? It's time to pull back the curtain a little bit and see what's really going on behind this visual mystery.
I mean, just look at this image. It's so ethereal, almost haunting. The features are really distinct. You can see the eyes, the line of the mouth, the chin. It just has this definite presence. If you saw this with no context at all, it's really easy to see why you might think this is something, otherworldly. But then we pull back. And this is where what we're seeing gets grounded back in reality. This isn't some random ghost caught on camera. It's an actual experiment. You can see there's a person in a dark room, and they're holding up some kind of transparent surface. And right there in front of them is a humidifier just pumping out vapor, and a light source aimed right at it. So here's the crucial thing. There's a specific recipe at work. It's like you need 4 key ingredients to make it happen. First, a really dark room so you can isolate the effect. Second, a source of vapor, like that humidifier. Third, you need a beam of light cutting through that vapor. And finally, some kind of surface for the image to actually resolve on. This whole thing is a controlled and apparently repeatable setup. So now that we kind of know how these things are made, let's explore the just incredible variety of what this technique has managed to capture. Think of this next part like a little gallery tour of the unexplained. This one's really interesting because of the clear emotion it seems to have. I mean, this isn't just a random jumble of features. It looks like a face with a really distinct, almost friendly smile. It's actually one of the most unambiguous expressions in the whole collection. And then you get this. The feeling here is completely different, right? That smile is way wider, it's distorted, and honestly, it's deeply unsettling. This contrast just goes to show you that the perceived emotional range of these faces is huge, all the way from serene to totally sinister. And get this, it's not always just faces. If you look closely at the area circled here, that's a much more complex shape. It really looks like a full, standing figure emerging out of the mist, which suggests this phenomenon isn't just limited to making face patterns. The texture of these faces also gets pretty weird. Most of them look all smoky and organic, but this one's different. It almost looks digital, like it's made out of a grid of pixels or tiny squares of light. It's this very strange artificial quality that just adds another layer of mystery to what we're looking at. So this brings us right to the core of this whole thing. We've seen what these images are, and we've seen how they're made. But the big question is, why do we see faces? Is what we're looking at science, a strange new form of art, or something else entirely? You know how you sometimes see a face in a cloud or on a piece of burnt toast? Well, the main scientific explanation for that is something called pareidolia. Our brains are literally hardwired from the moment we're born to recognize faces. It's an old survival trait that's so powerful, it can actually cause us to see faces even where there aren't any. So it all boils down to this central debate. On the one hand, is this whole thing just a question of perception? Are our own brains the artists here, just creating order out of chaotic vapor? Or, on the other hand, is it a question of reality? Is it possible that this experiment is actually capturing a real objective phenomenon that truly exists in that space, even just for a fleeting moment? Of course, we should probably consider some other possibilities too. What if this is a deliberate art project, someone using the physics of light and vapor to create these ghostly portraits? Or maybe it's some kind of undocumented physical phenomenon where fluid dynamics just naturally creates these patterns under the right conditions. Or, maybe it's exactly what it looks like, a genuine attempt to photograph something truly unknown. So as we start to wrap this up, that fundamental question is still hanging in the air. This whole thing really forces us to confront the limits of our own perception and maybe even the nature of evidence itself. Let's go back to this face one last time. Now that you know how it was made, has the way you see it changed at all? Does it look less real to you now? Or is it maybe even more fascinating, knowing that it was born from such a simple combination of just light and water? And in the end, that's really the question this whole collection leaves us with. Are we looking out into a mysterious world and actually capturing a little glimpse of the unknown? Or are we just looking into a mirror made of mist and light and only seeing a reflection of our own mind's deep-seated desire to find a familiar face in the chaos? The answer, it seems, isn't in the vapor. It's in how you choose to see it.